Hello, and welcome to my review of The Family by Brockhampton. Shortly after Iridescence had released, a couple months later, we got rumors that the band would be no longer continuing as a whole. That soon came to fruition. After a couple of the shows were canceled, they said that their final show ever was going to be at Coachella. And chaos began to ensue. Basically, fans were left wondering, okay, what the hell happened? Are we going to get an explanation? What's going on? And this album kind of serves as that purpose to let us know what happened. This is a Kevin-only project. Aside from a few very minor appearances from Bareface, this is Kevin only on vocals, and I feel like it's a fitting end to the band being just him, because him being the leader and the one who got the group actually started, it is fitting for him to give the final goodbye. There's a lot of high moments on here, but unfortunately, I do have to say that there's a lot of moments as well. Some of the high moments, I think the first 5 tracks, right off the bat, are really good, and I think that Kevin chose a really good set of tracks to kick off the album. Unfortunately, I think right after that you have the worst tracks on the album following up, and there are a couple in a row. You have Back from the Road, you have Southside, you have Basement and 37th Street. I am just not a huge fan of these. To me, they just do nothing. They don't really pique my interest at all. Like, they're not awful songs. It's just for Brockhampton and what they put out, these are not that good. And that kind of sucks. But it's going to happen at some point in an artist's discography. They're going to release something that's not so great. Unfortunately, this is that moment for them. But, it is what it is. I feel like the production is a little all over the place for those couple tracks. You have this very Jay Dilla and early Kanye inspired production throughout the entire album, but I feel like at certain points, and especially on those couple tracks, it really gets lost what they're trying to do. Like on, for example, Take It Back or RZA, you have these really dope samples that are going throughout. I know a couple points throughout the album, I'm pretty sure they have Jay Dilla's signature siren sound that goes on throughout, but it works most of the time, but unfortunately in a couple places it doesn't. It's just a little messy. You also have, though I will keep talking about the good moments, you have like the final track, Brockhampton, which is the amply named song where it is basically the final goodbye. It is Kevin just first of all giving call outs to all of the vocal members and kind of shouting them out and how appreciative he is for them, but he does also acknowledge like the hard points and things that led up to the breakup, which is very hard to hear, but it happens. Their fall from grace, I know it was unintentional, but stuff like this happens, and it's him just addressing it and just being like, hey, shit sucks, but we got to move on. At the end, he says it's solo time, so it gets me very excited, even though I'm sad at the same time. It gets me very excited to hear what is to come because of this, especially if Kevin's solo stuff does sound more like this. That would be really exciting. The track before is definitely my favorite by far on the entire album, and it's the ending. I love the production on here. The soul sample that they did on this is awesome. I think Kevin vocally does really well. I think his writing is on point. I just love this song. It's so good. It's like the perfect length, so that way you don't get sick of it and you can just like keep replaying it. It's awesome. I almost wish that it wasn't a single, so when I was listening to this album in full for the first time, it would have surprised me even more when I had heard it, because I loved it as a single, but man, if it was like a surprise, it would have been awesome. But either way, I do really like Prayer. It's a song with pretty much like almost no production. It sounds like Kevin just took a voice memo on his phone and just recorded himself and then put that on which I like. I think it fits very well with the minimal production, and it's definitely like, I wouldn't say tear jerking, but it is a very sorrowful moment. Him basically saying like he doesn't want this to end. You know, these are his brothers, his friends. He loves them so much. He doesn't want all this to go away. I mean, this is a dream. You know, this is a one in a lifetime chance that they got here, and it's going away. And it's him being like, please don't let it go away. But yeah, that's a really good track. Good bit of middle points in this. Boy Band, Any Way You Want Me. The title track, The Family, it's higher up in the middle points, but I would still say it's a middle point. Good Time, I know a lot of people like that one and the production on it, but to me, it just feels like something's missing. Maybe if it was just a little bit longer, I'm not sure, but it's just not all there for me. Personally, I do still appreciate it, and I don't think it's a bad song. I just think it's kind of middle point for the album. Any Way You Want Me, a lot of people really like, but to me, it's just meh. It's nothing absolutely crazy. Kevin's definitely done a whole lot better vocally, and I think the production's just okay, but still good in the grand scheme of things. Just for this album, there are just a lot of shining moments, like the ones I already talked about, which are so much better. The lead single, Big Pussy, I really liked. I liked the sort of like piano, jazz instrumental that kicks off the track. I like the sample in the very beginning. I forget who it is, but it's a lead singer of another band shouting at someone in a crowd. I think that's really funny. I like what Kevin does on here. He actually tricked me the first time I listened to it. I thought that for sure the second verse was Matt, just vocal pitch, but it's not. It's just Kevin, like, just lowering his voice. I really like that. I think that's a really good track. Like I said, a lot of these tracks are very short. They're just under 2 minutes or just barely over 2 minutes. I believe aside from the final track. So I feel like that helps in certain points, but also hurts in certain points. And on this track, I think it helps because it leaves you wanting for more, but not so much where it feels like it's halfway finished or it's incomplete, whereas some of the songs do. Like I feel like Back from the Road or Basement or Southside, I feel like those just feel incomplete. The production could have been a little bit more fleshed out. I think that Kevin at certain points could have done better on his writing, but oh well. Yeah. The production, while we're speaking about it, was solely handled by Bareface and another artist called Boy Life. I think they did really well on here for the most part. They didn't have too many duds, and for production-wise, I think the points where I didn't really like, it was mostly the writing, although there were a couple moments where the production was just okay, but overall, they did a really good job. I would definitely like to see Kevin go on more of these old school boom bap, the Chipmunk Soul inspired music. I think this was really fun to listen to for the most part when it wasn't absolutely depressing. But yeah, so that's it. This is the final Brockhampton album. It was definitely a hard one to get to the first time I listened to it. The last song had me tearing up. I am not ashamed to say that. It was quite a journey to watch them go from the greatest boy band in the world to this, basically. But yeah, that's this. I will be reviewing TM, their final album, after this, so watch out for that. But this one, I would give about a 74 or 75%. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.